Hello everybody, it's Fufu here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Aromatisse. At the time this video is going up, I will be on a much needed holiday, but this is a Pokemon that I really wanted to talk to you about. I think it's really interesting. There aren't as many changes for this Pokemon, but the changes that are there, the buffs that are there from this generation are really great, so I hope you appreciate this video coming out. First off though, I'll give you a bit of background about Aromatisse so that you can appreciate how the changes affect it. Aromatisse is a fairy type Pokemon that was introduced in Generation 6. Looking at its stats, it's got a fantastic HP stat and usable defensive stats, which is really nice. Its special attack stat is pretty good too, but it's got very low speed, which is worth noticing because you will have to rely on that bulk, but fortunately the bulk is there. In terms of its move pool, it's got a great support move pool with moves like Wish and Aromatherapy for singles, but also it's got options like Heal Pulse, Helping Hand, and even a signature move, Aromatic Mist, which targets an ally and boosts their special defense, which are really helpful in doubles. And what's also really important is this Pokemon does get Trick Room, so it's got that very low speed, which actually works to its advantage in Trick Room. Its abilities are also geared for utility and support. It's got Healer, which allows an ally to be healed of a status condition, and also Aroma Veil, and a signature ability which prevents it and its allies from being taunted or tormented or encored, any moves that affect their ability to choose certain moves. So that's really helpful, especially as a Trick Room setter, because you can't be taunted. All in all, this Pokemon was definitely a very good support Pokemon and utility Pokemon with enough special attack to be able to be slightly threatening with those fairy type moves. So how has this changed in Generation 7? Well, the first buff I'm talking about today is going to be Nasty Plot. Aromatisse now learns Nasty Plot as an egg move. It did previously get Calm Mind, but Nasty Plot is really interesting because I think it quite considerably changes the role of Aromatisse. I talked about the Trick Room set. In singles, Nasty Plot is going to change that setup quite a lot because previously it was probably more of a bulky Trick Room setter to support the team. Now with Nasty Plot, it's a Trick Room threat. You set up a Nasty Plot, you set up the Trick Room, and then you're good to do a lot of damage to your opponent's team. This is great on dedicated Trick Room teams, but also can be used on balanced teams where late game your opponent saved all their fast Pokemon to try and pick off yours. If you get that Trick Room up, you can reverse sweep them, which is really, really nice. It gets strong special attacks like Moonblast, and then your other move could be either Psychic, which you can hit those poison types with, or a hidden power like Hidden Power Ground to hit poison types, steel types, and fire types that would resist your Moonblast, but it's a little bit weaker than Psychic. But that is really good coverage, and really fairy typing on its own is very good offensively and defensively. So this Pokemon should quite easily be able to get a Trick Room up and do some damage, and that really changes Aromatisse's role. It's a much more potent offensive threat as well as a defensive threat and a utility Pokemon, and I think Nasty Plot is just so cool. You don't even need to run a Trick Room set for this Pokemon to put in a lot of damage. The second buff that I'll be talking about today is that Aromatisse now newly learns Ally Switch as a tutor move. This is a very useful move in double battles because it allows you to switch your Pokemon's positions in battle, which means that the opponent will be targeting the wrong Pokemon. And to predict this is very hard, especially with a Pokemon that newly learns this move like Aromatisse. And in double battles, Aromatisse will probably still be taking on more of a support role with a Trick Room set because it can't be taunted, and it does have that good defensive fairy typing. A lot of things are going to struggle to prevent this from setting up that Trick Room. If you can then Ally Switch, your opponent is not going to be able to target your offensive threat, and therefore you can keep them around for longer. It goes very well with Aromatisse's Heal Pulse as well, so you're able to support your attackers fantastically while having that Trick Room support up as well. And this is very, very strong and very potent in doubles. It's very hard to play around because it's sort of a 50-50 whether you know if your opponent's going to go for that Ally Switch or not. The mind games that Ally Switch provides can be very helpful for you and can win you battles just out of nowhere because it is so hard to predict. So only 2 buffs for Aromatisse this week, but I think they're both really, really nice ones, both very usable, and you can fit them on those movesets respectively in doubles or in singles. I think that Trick Room singles set is fantastic, and definitely worth looking at using a Z move with that as well, which is kind of a semi-buff for Aromatisse. It's not allowing it to do anything that it couldn't do previously really, but just using a powerful Twinkle Tackle after a Nasty Plot is a way that it can break through teams very nicely, and it just does so much damage with Nasty Plot now. Nasty Plot is the big game changer for Aromatisse really, but Ally Switch is very good also. Let me know what you think about Aromatisse, how game changing you think these buffs are. It's particularly of note because Aromatisse recently slipped down to PU in Smogon tiers, but has been banned from PU because it is too strong for that tier. Usually you don't see bulky, strong fairy types down there, and so when this thing did get down there, I think people acknowledged that it was just going to be overwhelming for that metagame. It's so strong with a Nasty Plot. That's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Foofoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.